All right, so you're going to be seeing several different skits that are related to The Office. It's a popular show, or what would you call it, a sitcom, that you can take a look at on YouTube, Netflix. But it's going to be reviewing 4 different chapters. Chapter 5, which is communication and culture. Chapter 6, which is listening. And Chapter 7, which is based off relationships. And Chapter 8, which is managing conflict in relationships. In Chapter 5, we're going to touch bases on Pam and Dwight on Culture Diversity Day. They're going to be encountering worldviews in this skit, as well as intercultural communication amongst one another. The second chapter we'll be focusing on is a skit in reference to Pam helping Dwight sell paper to women. It is for Chapter 6, which is based off listening, like I said. Basically, she's trying to help him understand the difference between the two. Shortly after, you're going to go ahead and follow into the next couple skits for Chapter 7, based off relationships. We're going to be going into friendship and social relationships as well. The first skit is Jim provoking Dwight with a small prank, which is based off that social relationship. It's something that's functional within a specific context. And then Pam and Dwight is going to be the second skit. Pam is actually realizing that her and Dwight are friends, based off a mutual satisfying and beneficial interaction that they have. Chapter 8, which the next skit's coming there after, it's going to be Stanley yelling at Ryan about hitting on his daughter. And that's basically showing a conflict and what that is, as well as the unproductive conflict, since it's not managed well and has a negative impact. So I hope you enjoy the video, and here you go. That's nice, Dwight.
Okay, do me.
Okay.
Something stereotypical.
Okay, I like your food.
Oh, food. Outback Steakhouse. Australia, mate?
No, not even close. But if I had to do something stereotypical, not that I believe it, it's you could or could not be a good driver.
Oh, am I a woman?
So this scene from The Office, I was playing Pam and RJ was playing Dwight. It was based off Chapter 5, which is communication and culture. Basically, it was showing a worldview, which is the framework through which you interpret the world and the people in it, as well as intercultural communication, which is the communication between people from different cultures who have different worldviews. Okay, Dwight, when selling to a woman, it's crucial that you listen and that you respect. Are you listening right now?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have to show us.
That's impossible. Listening is through your ears and your brain. Certain organisms have hair that vibrate to help them listen, but we, unfortunately, do not have that.
Okay.
What are you doing?
A little nod, a little smile. It's acknowledging and showing that I'm actually hearing. Got it?
Kind of. So, that scene was from The Office, and it was with Dwight and Pam. The whole point of the scene was for hearing and listening, the difference between those, and the chapter it was from was Chapter 6, and that chapter was listening. And hearing, the psychological process of perceiving sound, the process through which sound waves are picked up by the ears and transmitted to the brain. Pam shows Dwight that she is hearing him instead of listening, because she just nods and says, uh-huh, while Dwight says he's listening because his ears in his brain, and how all organisms have vibrating in their ears or whatever, but he was actually listening, unlike Pam, who was just hearing him instead of actually listening. Well, 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 look what the cat brought in from Stanford.
Hey Dwight, what's up?
Fact. I'm older and wiser, so don't mess with me.
Okay.
What are you looking at? Is there a spot in my forehead?
Nothing.
Make eye contact with me, Jim. This is indestructible.
I've been needing one.
Try it.
Perfect. So the case on it,
It's indestructible. Throw it. You broke it.
What?
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's indestructible.
Well, thanks, Dwight. I'm not friends with Dwight. I can't be friends with Dwight. Oh my god, I'm friends with Dwight. So in this scene of The Office, it's kind of going over relationships, which is chapter 7. The first scene between Jim and Dwight, they have more of a social relationship where they're pulling pranks on each other. It's a relationship that is basically functional within a specific context, but are less intimate than friendship. And then the second clip was Dwight and Pam, and kind of expressing the close and caring relationship between two people that's perceived as mutually satisfying and beneficial. So when he's offering her the MP3 player, and she is mutually satisfied by that offer, and it seems that it goes back and forth there. That's kind of what that's describing in that sense.
I don't want to see you around my child at all. Don't be sniffing around, and no one can help
like
you.
that.
Not even Jesus
It's
Christ,
not
if he
even-
walked in the door right now, could help you. So don't even think about it and stay away from my daughter.
So Stanley yelled at me today, and it was the most frightening thing that's ever happened in my life, I'd have to say.
Okay, so that scene was with Stanley and Ryan. Stanley and Ryan were in a conflict. Stanley was just yelling at Ryan because Stanley thought that Ryan was sniffing around with his daughter. And it was an unproductive conflict because it was a negative conflict. It was just Stanley yelling at Ryan, and Ryan explains that was the scariest thing that's ever happened to Ryan before in his life. The chapter that this was from was chapter 8, and it was managing conflict in relationships, and you could see that. So the overall thing that Blair and I got out of doing these skits in this whole video was learning the chapters of the book and understanding this vocabulary and what happens. So when we did chapter 5, the skit with Pam and Dwight and the cultural diversity, the worldview and how stereotypes, this is how people see those cultures, and the intercultural type of people that understand that and people that will see it in that type of way. It makes Blair and I understand that that's how it is today, and these are just skits. For chapter 6, the skit where Pam and Dwight, how she's trying to explain to him how to sell paper to women, well, she explains to him the difference between hearing and listening. That makes me, and also Blair, we understand that there is a difference between listening and hearing. When you're listening, you could understand what they're saying, you're listening, but when you're hearing, you're just yeah, okay. And that's true in anything that goes on today. You will see it when you're at work. Somebody might just be going like this, and they're hearing you, but they're not listening. And that from what we got out of the skit, that's how today is. And then for chapter 7, the fact that Jim and Dwight had that friendship with pranks and everything, that relationship, that social relationship can be true anytime with any friends you have or family if you have it that way. And so when you have friends like that, you can make pranks or whatever, and it's okay because that's the social relationship you guys have that are functional within a specific context. Blair will have friends or family like that too. And then also when Pam and Dwight, when the MP3 and how indestructible or whatever it was, and she realized that, oh, wait, he is my friend. You can sometimes do that with people. You will be at work or whatever, and you might think, well, I can't be friends with people that I work with, but you don't really realize that actually these people you work with are your friends. And that's the great thing that I got out of this kid, as also Blair too, that we understand now that there is friendships and there's a difference between that and then a social relationship, things like that. For chapter 8, managing conflict in relationships, that's a huge portion of the conclusion that we understand, is that conflict, it's an argument and a struggle with people. We have conflict all the time, every day, no matter what goes on, no matter how calm we can be. There's always going to be a conflict somewhere. And the skit with Stanley and Ryan, when Stanley was yelling at Ryan didn't really know what to do. There was a conflict, and that makes us understand that this is what goes on all the time. And then the fact of the unproductive conflict. I mean, if you have your boss just screaming at you and he's not listening to what you have to say, or he's not letting you say anything, then you can match these up and understand that this is a big portion, and we can understand that and use that in real life from just doing these skits. So that brings me to the end of this video, and I appreciate you watching it. Thank you.